The Motorway Extension Gurus are a digging group on 2B2T. Their initial mission was to create diagonal highways that reach the world border, all while moving the tunnels 45,000 blocks a day. Today in this video, I will be telling you the story of the Motorway Extension Gurus and how they set their goal into a reality. The story begins on October 15th, 2019, when a player named Citadel 2222 was on his way to the -X, -Z world border. The highway stopped at -4.8 million blocks, so from there, he had to walk in the open Nether. He decided to stop at X -5 million, Z -5 million to check if any structures had been built. He flew around the area and saw something odd. There was a chunk trail loaded, meaning someone else was out there. He decided to follow it and found a dupe stash. After being at the stash for around 20 minutes, a player named Illville502 showed up on his radar. But why was Illville there in the first place? Illville was at the location because he thought the further out he traveled, the safer he would be. The -5 million milestone was a perfect place to build his first stash, and since he was new at the time, he decided to /kill back to spawn and ordered $5 worth of gear from a dupe store. He would then walk back to the milestone to dupe, and all was going according to plan until Citadel showed up. Both players expected immediate death, however, neither were hostile, and so forth a friendship began. The two players decided to build a milestone at X -5 million, Z -5 million, since there was nothing more than a small sign wall. After nearly 3 weeks of slow building, they had built a large milestone. This proved to be a significant achievement, since the highway was not maintained well, and these players hadn't known each other for very long. The two players then decided that their next project would be to extend the -X, -Z diagonal highway. However, upon re-entering the Nether, the highway appeared to be dug out. They were extremely confused, so out of curiosity, they would follow the tunnel for a day. When they reached the end of the tunnel, they left a big sign wall with their details and ambitions for the highway. They waited for a response on Discord, and after much anticipation, the player responded back to them. The mysterious player, who was named Verifon, was intrigued about their journey, so he decided to join them. Verifon would end up turning their idea into reality. He was a very proficient coder, and was almost finished designing a sophisticated bot that used a baritone framework. This bot created a customized baritone script capable of digging a clean 2x2 highway to the world border. It would also automatically fetch pickaxes from inventories, eat golden apples when interacting with lava, plug lava holes, and much more. Verifon would teach them how to use the bots and agreed to leave an unbreakable pickaxe for Illville 7 million blocks out in the overworld. Illville did the math beforehand and concluded that he would need 40 shulkers filled with pickaxes to complete the dig. But if he were to obtain the unbreakable pickaxe, he would only need that pickaxe to complete the dig. After he obtained the unbreakable pickaxe, he would duplicate it for everyone. However, a few weeks later, the owner of 2B2T, Housemaster, would patch unbreakable items, putting a wrench in their plans. Eventually, the framework was upgraded to a 3x3 highway. This was done to allow two players to dig at the same time. With the new framework, they could all be logged in and dig, as long as the 2x2 highway had been dug out before the 3x3 highway, which allowed for the players to dig different segments at the same time. After mining for a few months, the group decided that they needed a name. They threw around 100 names, but when Illville said something along the lines of, "Digging far was a way of life," Verifon decided to call their group the Far Lifestyles. Illville let his discontent for the name to build up, until one day, he decided to speak up and see if they could change the name so they didn't appear to be, in quotes, cringelords. The group would brainstorm names to find a name that encapsulated what they were about. They dug highways/motorways, they extended what other individual players or groups have done in the past, and they were gurus, in the sense that they were dedicated to their projects and knew the ins and outs of digging just about anything. So, Citadel came up with the name Motorway Extension Gurus, and the rest was history. Around December, the group reached 8 million blocks in the overworld. Illville duplicated enough pickaxes to get the group by for a few weeks, until they found a shop that was willing to broker the group a deal in which every shulker would cost 18 cents. In early 2020, the players Dantes Wrath, Kevin Casey 2014, and Harritaco joined the group and played key roles in accelerating their progress. In a day, with 5 to 6 accounts running at once, they were able to travel and mine upwards of 125,000 blocks in the Nether, which is 1 million blocks a day in the overworld. However, they had some struggles along the way. It took several weeks to get the bots set up and run smoothly 24/7. Their accounts would die a couple of times, setting them back 2 to 3 weeks in some cases. They even forgot to set a bed a few times, forcing them to walk back from spawn once again. Around the time that the group reached 20 million blocks in the Nether, Verifont started to drift away from the group. The group, as a result, lost a lot of motivation and found it difficult to continue. But despite that, they powered through and got it done. After 3,000 hours of determination, the group reached the -X, -Z world border corner on May 26, 2020. They left their names outside the world border and on the already existing sign wall made by players before them. They would celebrate for a few days, while also getting a huge influx of players interested in digging nether highways, especially after a YouTuber named Salcy1 would document their achievements in the video. The group's next task was to complete all diagonal world border highways, most of which barely reached 300,000 blocks in the Nether. At the time, it seemed unrealistic, and only the most optimistic in the group believed they could do it. The group's next plan was to complete the +X+X diagonal highway, but while speaking to Salcy1 for his video, Illville proceeded to tell him how the group would dig all of the diagonal highways and open up travel to all world borders for the community, even though their bots couldn't do that task at the time. Instead of doing the project one highway at a time, they split up the work for maximum efficiency. The +X+X diagonal highway was started by the players Harritaco and Kevin KC 2014. Within a week, another player named Jonanen started to dig on the highway and met up with Harritaco. After meeting Harritaco, Jonanen became a crucial part of the digging effort. There was a continuous effort from all 3 members, with very few breaks in the digging process. Citadel and Illville decided to leave the +X+X diagonal highway project to them, while they would begin digging the +X-Z diagonal highway. During the summer, more players joined the crew. These players were Kurakuya, Tykrek, and Roy 4L Roddy, and they accelerated the progress on the remaining 3 highways, especially the less favored -X+Z highway. After digging for the entire summer, the +X+Z highway was completed on the 4th of September. Upon completion of this highway, the digbots was further optimized, and the diggers learned how to use it effectively without disruptions for longer periods of time. This meant the remaining 2 diagonal highways could be completed at a faster pace, with more dedication and knowledge of the process. In late July of 2020, Tykrek discovered a massive stash belonging to a shop owned by a known player named UFO Crossing. Being a very new player, with no need for the absurd amount of items, he donated the stash to the group. At the start, the group decided to just take crucial items, such as pickaxes and golden apples. However, partway through the operation, a member in the group leaked the coordinates to some players in another group called the Infinity Incursion. Upon learning of the leak, the Motorway Extension Gurus were able to blow up the stash before the members of the Infinity Incursion could get there. The group decided to keep this a secret from UFO Crossing, but a player named Cemented Wall 101 decided to message UFO Crossing that the Motorway Extension Gurus had griefed his stash. This caused the first member in the history of the crew to be kicked out of the group, since they didn't want a bad relationship with such a well-known player. For the last 2 remaining highways, the Motorway Extension Gurus felt like they had too many members, so they extended their ambitions. They started to look at new projects, and came up with extending the Nether Ring roads. The Nether Ring roads were highways that linked the straight and diagonal highways, as well as allowing for easy travel to regions in between. Around the completion of the +X+X dig, the 125,000 Nether Ring road began to be dug out. It was dug very quickly, and the group began paving it, which altogether took around 4 months to complete. The 250,000 Nether Ring Road started on December 1st, 2020, and was completed on January 2nd, 2021. The group decided to focus on the Plus X, -Z highway first. The pace quickly picked up around August after Tycrec joined in on the dig. The rest of the group decided to join the crew on the Plus X, +Z world border for a group photo, which added a month to the process. The third diagonal highway to the world border, the Plus X, -Z, was completed on the 14th of October. The last highway, the -X, +Z, was dug out primarily by Roy4 L. Rondi. Progress was extremely slow, as Rondi was the only digger on the project for long periods of time. Occasionally some strangers came and dug with him for a week or two, but Rondi did most of the work. This, of course, was extremely demotivating, as there was no one to assist him in reaching the goal. When the 3 other highways were finally completed, Rondi was only halfway complete. Other members started assisting Rondi, and this highway quickly started to pick up the pace. 2 months later, the highway was completed on the 12th of February, 2021. The group would create structures in the overworld. Roy4 L. Rondi created a noteblock song, and in a chest, a book was placed. Wow, this has been an incredible journey. It is after nearly 8 months that the world border has been reached. It is incredible to sit here, build and marvel with friends and allies. It's kind of crazy to think that people that dig all day can build such incredible things in such a short amount of time. With so many discoveries yet to be made, I wonder what we will find as we continue to push on. But for now, a break. Time to enjoy the corner and the history that lies within it. This here is my 6th music machine on Tubi, and is a small medley of some Zelda tunes to showcase what an absolute adventure this highway has been. I have seen so many diggers come and go, but walking through that nether portal for the first time is a feeling that will be hard to replicate in my time on Tubi. All of this being said, I am beyond grateful for all of the friends I have made along the way. This has truly been a journey, and if you are here to grief, I encourage you to give the box one last listen before you blow it to pieces. I hope that all of this stands to show that amongst so much anarchy, there can, in fact, be peace and friendship. Signing off, Roy4 L. Rondi. What the Motorway Extension Gurus did is something to admire. From the group thinking that the project was a long shot at best, to dedicating so much time and effort to achieve their goal, they literally willed their dreams into reality. And that is not the norm on Tubi. Players can now freely walk to any diagonal highway and reach the world border effortlessly. So, what's the future for the Motorway Extension Gurus? Well, for now, it's uncertain. They have a public goal to dig 1 billion netherrack, but they also want to do something equally ambitious and hopefully game-changing for travel, so we will have to wait and see. Until then, a lesson to be learned from this group is to never give up. Even if a goal looks like a long shot at best, hard work and dedication can turn that goal into reality.